The sound of the wind whistling through the door, like a heartbreaking whisper, pulls you into the dark alleys of your soul. Have you ever felt your heart sink just because of a small moment? A silent message, a fleeting comment, suddenly turns into a storm, drawing you into razor-sharp questions. Where did I go wrong? What if everything falls apart? Why do they no longer need me? In a small corner of San Francisco where the sloping streets were covered with early morning foliage, Liam sat curled up in an old armchair, the orange light from the dim desk lamp shining on his face, where his tired eyes were glued to the phone screen. The text message he sent that afternoon is still there, cold as an iceberg. Are you okay today? With each passing second, his heart felt like it was being squeezed, his chest heavy with doubt, as if the whole world was gradually closing in before his eyes. Not far away, in a small meditation room, nestled among wooden houses in Noe Valley, Maya stood still, her trembling hands holding a notepad, when an email from a student appeared on the laptop screen. My class is no longer the same as before. Those words were like an invisible knife, cutting deep into her heart, making her eyes red, her heart aching. Like a candle swaying in the wind, two people, two pains, but imprisoned by the same shapeless enemy. Overthinking. The mental whirlwind tears away your peace, making you forget that you deserve to be loved, to breathe, to live fully. But right now, stop. Hear your heart beating. Feel your breath gently lifting your chest. In this moment, there is a path opening up. The path that American Buddhism, with its Zen monasteries nestled in the shade of green California pines, and paths lined with yellow oak leaves, has shown the way for thousands of years. It's where you learn to release invisible burdens, embrace yourself with compassion, and return to the present, where all pain vanishes like mist under the sun. That journey begins right now, with one breath, one faith, and one heart burning with the desire to heal. Part 1. Liam's Spiral. When a text becomes a mental prison, Liam sat in a small apartment in the outer Sunset area, where the sound of ocean waves from Ocean Beach echoed, mixed with the sound of the April night wind blowing through the eucalyptus trees outside the window. The room was bathed in soft yellow light from the table lamp, shining on the white wall, mottled with time stains, creating a quiet but haunting scene. On the old oak table, covered with scratches from the days of moving house, Liam's phone lay still, the screen lit up with a text message he sent to Sophie, his close friend from college, more than 10 hours ago. Are you okay today? No response. There were no signs, only a cold silence like fog covering the city. He tightened his grip on the phone, his knuckles turning white, as if he was trying to hold on to a fragile string that was slipping out of his hand. His heart beat fast. Each beat was a hammer blow to his chest. What did I do wrong? Is Sophie angry with me? He remembered the last time they met, at a small cafe in the Mission District, where bright murals of cranes and lotus flowers surrounded them. Sophie defiled, her curly brown hair blowing gently in the wind. But there was a moment when she looked out the window, through the glass frame covered with steam. Her distant eyes seemed to hide a sadness. Did I accidentally say something that hurt her? Liam reopened the message, his eyes scanning every word, every dot, like a detective looking for clues in an unsolved case. I should have written something more cheerful. I shouldn't have sent it when she was busy. He stood up, his feet stepping heavily across the gray fur carpet, the soft fur brushing against his heels, but providing little comfort. The sound of the wooden floor creaking under every step was like a sad song, mixing with his disordered heartbeat. He walked to the corner of the small kitchen, where an old stainless steel kettle sat on the gas stove. He poured water in, watching the drops fall, but the sound of boiling water could not drown out the sharp voice in his head. Sophie didn't answer, because she was bored with her. She doesn't need me anymore. He brewed a cup of mint tea, the heat rising from the white porcelain cup, bringing with it a gentle scent. But it was just like a thin smoke. disappearing before the coldness spreading in his chest. Liam sat down in the chair. The cup of tea trembled in his hand, the warmth seeping into his palm, but not reaching his clenched heart. He felt an invisible fear squeezing his throat, like a cold hand squeezing. If Sophie doesn't respond anymore, what does that mean? Have I lost her? That thought was like a heavy granite stone, pressing down on my chest, making every breath painful, as if the air had turned into broken glass. He scrolled through old messages with Sophie, lines that used to make him laugh, like when they argued about who was the best character in the movie Star Wars, or when Sophie sent a photo of her golden dog, fur-covered in beach sand, with the caption, "I just conquered the ocean." But now her silence was like a cold steel wall, separating him from those warm memories. He stood up and walked out to the small balcony, where tiny pots of cacti stood resiliently in the faint moonlight. The sea breeze blew past, carrying the smell of salty salt and cold air, making his hair messy. He looked down at the quiet road below, with only a few cars passing by, their headlights scanning short streaks of light on the wet road surface. He felt like a lost person on a deserted island, with no map, no light, only repeating questions. What does she think about me? What did I do wrong? Each question was a loop of barbed wire, squeezing him tighter, making him feel suffocatingly lonely, as if the whole world had turned its back on him, leaving him alone in the darkness. The night lasted like a road without stopping. Liam lay on the sofa, the navy blue wool blanket pulled up to his chin, his eyes glued to the ceiling, where the streaks of light from the streetlights drew strange shapes, sometimes like a wave, sometimes like a sad face. He wondered if his friendship with Sophie was fading, if he was losing an important piece of his life. That pain is not just doubt, but a deep wound, making him feel small and fragile, like a dry leaf falling in the wind. No one picks it up. The next morning, as the first sunlight filtered through the cream linen curtains, dyeing the room yellow, Liam's phone vibrated, interrupting his dark thoughts like a sudden flash of light. A message from Sophie. "Sorry, Liam. I was stuck with a project until late last night and overslept. Are you okay today? Want some coffee?" He read it over and over, each word like a drop of cool water falling into the dry desert in his heart. His heart lightened, as if the granite had melted into sand, blown away by the wind. He laughed, a smile mixed with embarrassment and sadness, like someone who had just escaped a nightmare. All the stressful moments, the scenarios he created for himself. Sophie was angry with him. Sophie no longer needed him. Turned out to be just a thin smoke, disappearing in the morning light. Liam stood up and walked out to the balcony, where the cactus pods now shone in the morning sunlight, their small spines sparkling like dewdrops. He looked out onto the street and saw a jogger with headphones, an old lady walking her dog, and sparrows jumping on electric wires, chirping as if telling stories. A question quietly rang in my heart. Why did I let a tiny text message control me like that? He realized this wasn't the first time. He once lost sleep over a work email, worried that his boss would be disappointed, and counted the seconds until morning. He once stood for hours in front of the mirror, analyzing an unintentional statement during a group meeting, afraid that his colleagues would think he was arrogant. That is overthinking, a mental prison where small details become towering walls, imprisoning his heart in fear and loneliness, like a bird locked in a cage, flapping its wings until exhaustion. Part 2. Maya's Pain. When a comment penetrates the soul. In the small meditation room in the Noe Valley area, where white-painted wooden houses are close together under green oak trees, Maya stood quietly, her hands clasped tightly in front of her chest, as if trying to hold on to a broken piece of herself. Around her, small candles flickered on wooden pedestals. Orange-yellow light danced on mandala paintings on the wall, drawing concentric circles as a symbol of harmony. A vase of white chrysanthemums placed in the corner of the room emitted a gentle scent, mixed with the scent of sandalwood from the burning incense stick, creating a quiet space. But Maya's heart was sinking in a fierce storm. She had just returned from a yoga session at Insight Meditation in Marin County, where winding paths lead through green hills covered in spring wildflowers. But her mind could not rest. An email from Anna, a former student who always smiled after every class, kept repeating in her head like an endless sad song. My class is no longer the same as before. It lacks energy. She opened the laptop on the small wooden table. The blue light from the screen shone on her face, highlighting her red eyes, sparkling as if they were about to burst into tears. Maya walked to the mirror hanging on the wall, the wooden frame carved with a simple pattern, and looked at herself. Her eyes were watery, reflecting a deep pain, like a lake stirred by the wind. Her heart ached every time, as if being pierced by an invisible arrow. Each stab was a question. What did I do wrong? Am I no longer inspiring? She recalled recent teaching sessions, times when she stood in front of the class, her gentle voice guiding the students to breathe deeply, feeling their bodies in harmony with each movement. She smiled, even though sometimes it was a forced smile, because she knew the students needed her light. But now, Anna's comment is like a distorted mirror, distorting all her efforts, making her only see the shortcomings and cracks within herself. She sat down on the blue yoga mat, her arms wrapped around her knees, her head bowed low, like a wilted flower before a storm. She tried to breathe, but her breaths were short and rapid, as if the air had turned to debris. Her mind refused to stop. She thought about the other students. Did they feel the same as Anna? She recalls a teaching session when a young student left class early, walking in a hurry, without looking back. Are they disappointed too? Am I no longer worthy of standing here? That doubt was like a rolling river, roaring waves, sweeping her away from the peaceful shore. She felt like a dry tree in the middle of a field, its branches and leaves drooping, with no life left to protect anyone, no more light to illuminate the way. That night, Maya lay in bed, the beige wool blanket pulled up to her chin, like a thin shield against sharp thoughts. She looked at the ceiling, where the streaks of light from street lamps bounced up, forming strange shapes, sometimes like a breaking wave, sometimes like a pair of sad eyes. She wondered if she should change the way she teaches, try new exercises, or worse, if she should give up this job. The job she once considered the fur that warmed her life. The reason she woke up every morning with a smile. Each thought was a knife, cutting deeper into her heart, making her feel like a dying candle whose light was weak, not enough to be worthy of her students' love and trust. That pain was like an ocean, engulfing her in darkness, suffocating her, as if the whole world had turned its back, leaving her alone with wounds no one could see. The next morning, Maya walked into the meditation center. Her feet were as heavy as stones. Her canvas shoes rubbing against the wooden floor made small sounds. She looked at the practitioners sitting on the meditation cushions, their faces peaceful, eyes softly closed, hands resting lightly on their laps. The morning light filtered through the large window, spreading golden streaks on the polished wooden floor, highlighting the dust particles floating in the air, like small stars in the quiet universe. But in her heart, a painful question rang out, like a broken bell. Do I still belong here? She wanted to run away, wanted to hide herself in a dark corner, where no one could see the cracks in her heart. But then, she stopped. She walked to the corner of the room, where a painting of Guanyin Buddha hung on the wall. His gentle eyes seemed to be looking straight at her. She sat down on the purple cushion, the soft fabric hugging her body like a comfort. She closed her eyes, breathed deeply, feeling the cool air entering her chest, like a stream washing away the broken pieces in her. She exhaled, letting her breath carry away the heavy thoughts, like dropping a leaf into the river. In that moment, she remembered the teachings of her teacher, a Vietnamese-American Zen master with a gentle smile, like sunlight. The mind is a monkey, always jumping and screaming. But you are the sky, vast and quiet. Don't run after the monkey. Let it come, then go. Maya opened her eyes, looked at the candle in front of her, placed on a small ceramic plate. The flame was small but resilient, wavering, but not extinguished. Even though the wind blew through the window, she realized that Anna's comment was not the absolute truth, but just a moment, a fleeting perspective, like an autumn breeze. She cannot control other people's thoughts, but she can choose to love herself, choose to stand up and continue. Maya stood up, her legs more stably, like tree roots deeply rooted in the ground. She entered the classroom, the light from the large window surrounding her like an embrace. Her voice resonates, gentle but strong, guiding students through every breath, every movement, like a river, leading them to a peaceful shore. That day, when class ended, a young student, his hair tied up, walked up to her. The girl's eyes detailed, holding Maya's hand so tightly that she could feel her heart beating. "Miss Maya, I feel embraced today. Thank you for being here." Those words were like a ray of sunshine, piercing through the clouds in Maya's heart. She smiled, tears sparkling, not because of pain, but because of a deep joy, like the candle inside her had been lit again, burning brighter than ever. Part 3. Overthinking. The silent thief of peace. Liam and Maya's story is an echo of a profound truth that Buddhism has pointed out for thousands of years, conveyed through the golden oak-shaded streets of Berkeley, through the wooden meditation halls nestled under the pine forests of Marin County. The mind is a river, beautiful but fierce if you let it flow. In American Buddhist culture, where the pace of modern life blends with the tranquility of meditation, overthinking is considered a form of dukkha, suffering. Comes from clinging to thoughts that are not real, like trying to hold a handful of sand in your hand, only to see it slip through your fingers. Why do we fall into a spiral of overthinking? According to the spirit of Buddhism, it is because the mind craves control, like a traveler searching for light in the dark night. Liam wanted to know for sure that Sophie still loved him, that their friendship would be as strong as the waves returning to the shore of the outer sunset. Maya wants to ensure that she is a perfect teacher, that each student leaves class with a light heart, like flowers blooming under the sun. But life, as the Buddha taught, is impermanent, like the falling maple leaves outside Liam's window, like the flickering candle in Maya's room, like the fog that dissipates when the sun rises. Nothing stands still. Nothing is certain. When there are no answers, our minds fill the void with fear, like an artist painting dark paintings. They don't answer because they hate me. They criticize because they are useless. San Francisco, with its steep streets and towering skyscrapers, is a place where life is fast-paced and social pressure intensifies overthinking. Liam, a tech programmer in Silicon Valley, always feels the need to be right in every line of code, every email sent. He is afraid of making mistakes, afraid of being judged, afraid of not being good enough in a world where every second is a race. He remembers the nights, sitting in the office, blue light from the computer screen shining on his face, while colleagues around him typed non-stop, like a symphony of pressure. Maya, even though she lives in a world of meditation, still faces the expectation of having to bring peace to all students, to always shine like a light that never goes out. She remembered the days when she stood in front of the class, the students' eyes looking at her, as if she were the one holding a torch to light the way through the darkness, and the fear of not meeting those expectations weighed on her shoulders like an oversized armor. But American Buddhism offers a different perspective, like sunlight filtering through oak leaves, spreading streaks of light onto the dirt road. Zen Master Jack Kornfield, founder of Spirit Rock Center, once said during a Dharma talk in the middle of a pine forest, "The mind is not the enemy, it is a friend. but sometimes it gets lost, like a child lost in the forest. Your duty is to hold its hand and lead it home. Overthinking does not need to be destroyed. It needs to be understood, embraced with compassion, and guided with awareness. Liam and Maya, through their days of struggling with their minds, learned that they are not their thoughts. They are the vast sky, and thoughts are just clouds coming and going, like waves hitting the shore, leaving traces and then disappearing. Part 4. Harmful effects of overthinking. A mental wound. Overthinking is more than just a habit. It is a fierce whirlwind that sweeps away energy, joy, and even your very being. Like the wind sweeps dry leaves through the streets of San Francisco. When Liam spends the night worrying about Sophie, he doesn't just lose sleep. He lost the opportunity to enjoy a peaceful evening, listening to the steady sound of ocean waves from Ocean Beach, smelling the fragrant mint tea from a hot ceramic cup, or watching the silvery moonlight sprinkle on the balcony, where small pots of cacti stood resiliently in the cold wind. He was imprisoned in his mind, like a bird flapping in an iron cage, its wings weak, unable to fly. He remembers nights like that, when he sat huddled on the sofa, the light from the street lamp shining through the curtains, creating long streaks of light, like paths leading into the darkness, and he felt like a lost traveler. No one could find him. When Maya was lost in doubt because of Anna's email, she forgot that dozens of other students had found comfort in her gentle voice, in the way she gently touched their hands to correct their posture, in the way she looked at them, as if saying that they were enough, that they were worthy. She forgot about the handwritten letters from her students, written on cream-colored paper in slanted handwriting, thanking her for being the place where they found peace amid life's storms. But overthinking obscured everything, like a black curtain covering her meditation room, making her only see her own darkness. She remembered the afternoons sitting alone in her room, watching the candle burn, the small flame like her heart, swaying with every wind. And she wondered if she still had the strength to continue. In Buddhism, overthinking is a form of ignorance, ignorance of the true nature of things, like a blind person walking in the light without seeing the way. We think that our thoughts define us, that an unanswered text or a negative comment is proof of our failure. But as Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh, who brought mindfulness to America, once said in a Dharma talk under the trees at Deer Park Monastery, "You are the vast sky, deep blue and quiet. Thoughts are just clouds, fleeting and gone. Don't run after them. Stay with the skill." When Liam and Maya cling to negative thoughts, they build a mental prison for themselves, where every wall is a question, every iron bar is a fear, every dark corner is a wound that won't heal. Overthinking exhausts you, like someone running a never-ending marathon. It turns small tasks into impossible mountains. Liam once delayed a work report because he was afraid that his ideas weren't creative enough. He sat for hours in the apartment, in front of the computer screen, the cursor blinking on the white page like a taunt, while outside the window, the sunset dyed the sky red. But he couldn't see it. His mind reeled with questions. What if the boss doesn't like it? What if I'm underrated? Maya was hesitant to change her teaching schedule, worried that her students would leave her. She stood in front of the calendar, hanging on the wall of the meditation room, the red marker quivering in her hand, the light from the candle illuminating her face, highlighting the wrinkles of anxiety. She felt like one small decision could destroy her whole world, like a domino collapsing everything she had built. More importantly, overthinking robs you of the present, the only moment in which you truly live, like the bright sunlight on the Marin Hills, like the sound of waves crashing on the outer Sunset Beach. Liam didn't realize the beauty of the maple leaves falling outside the window, spinning in the wind like end-of-season dances. He didn't hear the sound of the ocean waves singing a lullaby from afar, or feel the warmth of a cup of tea in his hand. Maya didn't hear the birds chirping, as she entered the meditation center, or feel the cool breeze caressing her face as she walked through the park, where wildflowers bloomed alongside the paths. They are pulled back into the past with what ifs. If only they had said something different. If only they had done better. They are pushed into the future with fears of what if? What if they fail? What if they are abandoned? In Buddhism, this is lost mindfulness, the ability to live fully in each moment, where every pain can be healed, like a flower blooming again after the rain. Part 5. The Way to Escape Overthinking. Light from American Buddhism. American Buddhism, with its simple wooden meditation halls nestled under the shade of pine trees and its dirt roads covered with yellow leaves, offers practical ways to stop overthinking, like sunlight penetrating the fog, illuminating every corner of the soul. Liam and Maya, through their days of struggling with their minds, found that light. The light of mindfulness, compassion, and conscious action. They do not chase away troubled thoughts, but learn to sit with them, like sitting next to a lost friend, guiding them home with gentleness, like a mother comforting a creasing child. Here are specific steps drawn from their journey and the teachings of modern Zen masters, echoing from California meditation centers to cozy auditoriums in New York. 1. Identify and embrace thoughts. Liam learned how to recognize overthinking when he attended a weekend meditation course at Spirit Rock Center, where tall pine trees surrounded the wooden meditation hall, and the smell of pine resin mixed with the cool morning air. In the quiet room, the light from the large windows scattered golden streaks on the floor, and the bell rang like a drop of water falling into a lake. Liam sat on the meditation cushion, legs crossed, but his mind kept returning to Sophie's message. The instructor, a woman with neatly tied silver hair and a voice as gentle as a stream, said, "Don't push thoughts away. Name them, worries, doubts, fears, and let them flow, like leaves on the Russian river flowing through the valley." Whenever he feels confused, Liam stops, steps out onto the balcony, stands among the small pots of cacti, and puts his hand on his chest, feeling his heartbeat. He took a deep breath, the air carrying the scent of sea salt filling his chest, and whispered to himself, "This is worry. It's not me. It's just a cloud, fleeting in the sky." Calling his name helps him separate himself from the storm, like standing on the shore and watching the water flow, not being swept away. He felt relieved, as if a window had been opened, letting a cool breeze flow into the stuffy room of his mind. Maya also learned to embrace thoughts. When Anna's email left her shaking, she sat down on the meditation cushion in her room, the light from the candle illuminating her face, highlighting her violent tears. She put her hand on her chest, felt her heart beat erratically, and said to herself, "This is pain. I will embrace it, like embracing a crying child." She breathed, letting her breath become a gentle hug, like a cool stream flowing through the cracks in her heart. Slowly, she felt her heart soften, like a calm lake surface after the wind, reflecting the light from the candle in front of her. 2. Accept impermanence. In Buddhism, everything is impermanent, from emotions to thoughts to life events, like the waves that come and go on the outer sunset beach. Liam realized that Sophie's silence was just a moment, not forever. Like the moonlight sometimes dimmed behind the clouds, but then brightened again. He started writing a diary. Every night, sitting at the oak table, under the yellow light of a lamp, writing down 3 things he was grateful for. Like the sunlight this morning shining through the curtains, the fragrant cup of coffee he drank at a familiar shop, or the smile of a flower seller on the side of the road. He also notes the things he can control, like the way he answers emails, or the way he walks into the sunset feeling the cool pavement under his feet, and lets go of what's out of reach, like Sophie's thoughts. He whispered to himself, his voice small but firm. Everything changes. We don't need to cling to fear. Maya also learned to accept impermanence. She stood in front of the candle in the meditation room. The flame wavered, sometimes strong and sometimes weak, like her heart, but never extinguished. She understood that Anna's comment did not define her, any more than a gust of wind could extinguish the fire in her heart. She began to practice a small exercise. Every morning, she stood in front of the meditation room window, looking through the frosted glass, seeing the falling golden oak leaves sparkling in the morning sunlight. She said to herself, "Things come and go. I will let them pass, like leaves falling to the ground." Accepting impermanence gives her relief, like dropping a backpack full of rocks on a dirt road, letting her shoulders free, letting her heart breathe. 3. Living with mindfulness. Mindfulness is at the heart of American Buddhism, applied in every moment of everyday life, from washing dishes in the kitchenette, to walking through a tree-lined park, to meditating under flickering candlelight. Maya teaches her students in a meditation room with mandalas and vases of white chrysanthemums. Your breath is your home. When your mind wanders, return to it, like returning to an old friend, always waiting for you. She practices this every day. When washing the dishes, she felt the cool water flowing through her hands, the soap bubbles sparkling under the kitchen light. While walking through Dolores Park, she heard the rustling of leaves under her feet and the sound of children laughing in the distance. When meditating, she anchors herself to her breath, letting each breath be a reminder. I am living, right now, in this light, in this city fly. Liam tries mindfulness when he feels anxious about a work meeting. He left the apartment and walked out to Golden Gate Park near his house, where towering eucalyptus trees cast shade and the smell of newly cut grass mixed with the sea air. He sat down on a wooden bench, the rough surface rubbing against his hands, and closed his eyes. He breathed deeply, feeling the cool air pass through his nose, his chest rising and falling. He heard children laughing, leaves rustling, and the wind singing softly through the trees. He opened his eyes, looking at the white clouds drifting lazily in the blue sky. Like his thoughts, no need to hold back, no need to chase away. In just a few minutes, his mind calmed down, like a river returning to a peaceful state, reflecting the sparkling sunlight. He realized that the present is the only safe place, where there is no room for endless questions, where he can be himself. 4. Cultivate compassion. American Buddhism emphasizes compassion towards others and towards oneself as sunlight warms cold winter days. Maya used to be harsh with herself, blaming herself for not being good enough, not bright enough, like a lamp dimmed by the wind. She learned meditation metta from a course by Zen teacher Tara Brach at the Omega Center in New York, where the cozy auditoriums echo with the sound of bells and the teacher's gentle voice. Every morning, she sat in front of a candle in her meditation room, her hands on her chest, feeling the steady beat of her heart, and repeated, "May I be at peace. May I be happy. May I be free from suffering." Those words were like a cool stream, washing away the pain in her, like rain watering a dry field. She felt like a flower, opening its buds after the rain, ready to welcome the sunlight, ready to bloom. Liam also tried meditation metta. One night, when he was worried about work again, he sat down on the wooden floor of his apartment, his back against the wall, the light from the desk lamp shining on his face, highlighting the wrinkles of worry. He placed his hand on his heart, felt the warmth of his palm, and said to himself, "It's okay, Liam. Everyone has doubts sometimes. I'm doing my best, and that's enough." Those words were like a warm hug, soothing his trembling heart, like a mother comforting her creaking child. He realized that he didn't need to be perfect. He just needed to be himself, with all the scars, fears, and unfinished dreams, like the waves still crashing on the shore, even though some days they are fierce, some days they are gentle. 5. Act with consciousness. Overthinking grows in procrastination, like weeds growing on an untraveled road, but action can break it, like a hoe plowing through dry soil. Maya learns that instead of analyzing Anna's emails, she can respond with sincerity. She sat in front of her laptop, blue light shining on her face, her fingers gliding on the keyboard, writing, "Thank you for sharing, Anna. I will try to bring more energy, and I look forward to hearing more of your opinions." She pressed the send button, heard a small swoosh sound from the machine, and felt like a door had been opened, light pouring in. That action not only helped her move forward, but also made her feel alive, connected, like a branch budding after winter. Liam also started to act. Instead of worrying about the meeting, he spent an evening preparing, sitting at the oak table, the light from the lamp illuminating yellow sticky notes, where he wrote ideas with a blue ink pen. The handwriting slanted like a flowing river. He arranged them on the table, like a mosaic, each piece a step forward. The next morning, he walked into the meeting room, his leather shoes scraping against the wooden floor, making a small noise, his heart still beating fast. But he smiled and spoke with a steady voice. As he presented, he saw his colleagues' eyes light up. One person nodded encouragingly, and another took notes. Actions, no matter how small, help him feel powerful, like a person steering a boat in the middle of a storm, finding the light of a lighthouse through the fog. Build daily habits. To train the mind, Liam and Maya create small habits like stepping stones on the path of mindfulness, like drops of water falling steadily, forming a river. Take deep breaths. When feeling confused, inhale to count to 4. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale to count to 5. Feel your body relax, like waves gently lapping on the sand. Liam often does this on the balcony, standing among the cactus pots, watching the moonlight shine on the sea in the distance. Check your body. Relax your shoulders and jaw, and notice any tension, like checking a house before the rain. Maya often stood in front of the mirror in her meditation room, looked into her eyes, and said, "I'm fine. I'm here." Wonder, will this thought help me, or will it just make me miserable? If not, shift your attention to the present. The sound of birds singing outside the window, the sunlight dancing on the table, or the feeling of your hands touching a cup of hot tea. Liam likes to sit by the window, watching the falling maple leaves, letting his mind stay anchored in their every rotation. Small action. Do something specific, like replying to a text message, writing a thank you note in your journal, or walking for a few minutes under a tree. Maya carries a small stone in her pocket, smooth from every touch, and every time she holds it, she reminds herself to do something consciously, like write a note to a student, or put a new chrysanthemum in a vase. These habits, like branches sprouting in a field, lead them to peace, step by step, day by day. Part 60, Living in the Present, the House of Love and Freedom. In American Buddhist culture, the present is your only home, where you can love, breathe, be yourself, like the bright sunlight in the marine hills, like the sound of waves crashing on the outer Sunset Beach. Zen master Tara Brach once said during a Dharma talk, "When the sunset dyed the auditorium red, when you live in the moment, you see that everything is enough, even the cracks in your heart, even the days when you feel like you aren't enough." Liam and Maya, through months of struggling with their minds, learned that overthinking doesn't provide the answers. It only creates more vortexes, pulling them away from their own light, like waves trying to pull a boat away from the dock. One afternoon, Liam stood on the apartment balcony, holding a cup of mint tea. The rising heat mixed with the sea breeze carrying the smell of salt. Maple leaves fall slowly, spinning in the air, like end-of-season dances, landing on the wet pavement with a small rustle. He breathed deeply, feeling his heartbeat steady and steady, like a drum beating in his chest. He looked down the street of outer Sunset and saw a little girl riding a bicycle, her hair blowing in the wind, her laughter as clear as a silver bell. An old man sat on a bench, stroking his furry dog, his gentle smile like sunshine. A jogger passes by, his headphones shining in the sunset, his feet rhythmically tapping like a song. Liam realizes that life isn't about unanswered messages or worries about tomorrow. It lies here, in the golden sunshine on the road, in the sound of ocean waves singing a lullaby in the distance, in his heart, still beating, still alive, still full of hope, like a fire that never goes out. Maya, in her meditation room, burned a stick of incense, and the scent of sandalwood spread like a gentle hug, filling the room with silence. She sat down on the cushion, the light from the candle illuminating her face, highlighting the small smile lines at the corners of her eyes. She closed her eyes, feeling the stillness spreading, like a calm river flowing through her body, carrying all the pain, all the doubts, and letting them go. She knew that her mind would still wander. There would still be days when she wondered if she was good enough. But she's not afraid anymore. She learned how to return to her breath, to compassion, to this moment. Like returning to a warm house after a storm, she opened her eyes, looking at the candle in front of her, the small but resilient flame, a reminder that she could always light herself, no matter the wind. She stood up, walked out, and walked along the oak-shaded road in No Valley, where the fallen yellow leaves sparkled in the sunlight, like flakes of foam scattered on the path. A former student, who once left class without saying a word, suddenly appeared from around the corner, her hair loose, her eyes shining when she saw her. She ran over, held Maya's hand so tightly that she could feel her heart beating, and said, "Miss Maya, I'm back. I realize that you've given me more than I ever knew. A place to return to, a place to heal." Maya smiled, tears glistening on her cheeks, not because of pain, but because of a deep joy, like a stream flowing from her heart, watering all the old wounds, as taught by the Buddha and conveyed by American Zen masters with intimacy, like a friend sitting next to you under the shade of a tree. Happiness is not something you find at the end of the road. It is the road, and you are on it, right now. Liam and Maya, each with their own wounds, fears, and race, chose that path, the path of mindfulness, of compassion, of a heart always ready to open and love. They learned that life is not about perfect answers, not days without doubt, not moments without pain. Life is the sunlight on the road, the sound of waves crashing on the shore, the breath that lifts your chest, the candle burning brightly in the darkness. Life is now, and they are living, breathing, loving, right now.